So creating a custom envelope for your cards, if you have a non-traditional size cards, is really quite simple. I wouldn't do it for traditional size cards because you can easily find the envelope sizes for that, and likely they're a lot cheaper than making them yourself because you're making it with cardstock, and cardstock tends to be a little bit more expensive. But this is great when you just can't find an envelope that's the right size. So what you're going to do is you're going to flatten your card and you're going to measure how big it is. So the base of this is 5.5, but because I have a daisy sticking out, 6 by 6 is going to be the right size for this card. So it's got a chart right on here. So for a 6 by 6 card, I need to cut a piece of cardstock 9.5 by 9.5. I'm gonna pull my trimmer out and doing that. And I'm just using a white piece of cardstock for this. You could easily use a printed piece. It'd be really fun if you had some printed daisy cardstock for this particular one, just because it's daisy, or have one that matches whatever theme of the card that you created. So it says 9.5 by 9.5, and my first score line is going to be on 4 3/4. There's a ruler right here, so I'm going to put it on the 4 3/4 mark, punch it, and then I'm going to score it. I find it easier to score from the center in. It's easier to stay on the channel. When you're in the middle here and going out, sometimes it's hard to feel where that channel is. So when you can see this, it's easier to go here and do it in. After that, we are going to match that little tab there with our line. And because we're doing a square envelope, it's going to end up being on the 4 3/4 mark still. They all are. When you're doing rectangle envelopes, they're not going to be. But if you're doing squares, that's a great way to know that you're keeping everything completely straight. And then before we put it together on this side, we can round those corners there. That one didn't go in quite as much as I would like it. Round those corners in there. Fold our pieces up. And there we go. And then I just use the same double-sided tape that we've been using throughout the class. This one is actually 1/4 of an inch. I want to make sure that the tape doesn't get exposed in the inside of the envelope, and probably that other one it wouldn't, but the 1/4 inch is enough to hold it all in place, and the wider one is just a little bit more expensive, so if this is enough, I might as well do that. There we go. We can put our card in there. I'm leaving that daisy part up because I don't want to push it onto the bottom of my envelope. And then we can fold that down and glue that in if we want. I'm not going to do that because I haven't addressed the card to anyone. But there we go, a custom envelope for our card. And this little tool here stores right in there, so I never lose it. But perfect and super simple to make a custom envelope for whatever size you need. So if yours stuck out a little bit more, you might need to make an envelope that's a little bit more. Totally doable.